How's it going, everyone? Okay. So we're going to have a continuation from Paul's teachings. Paul was talking about the spirits. So every man is for everyone to benefit themselves. Again, spirits are for the gifts. But you have to manifest the spirit to have the spirit give you a gift. A reference is in the upper room in Acts chapter 1 and 2. So yeah, if you want to reference that. Today, I want to give you a conclusion of why Paul was giving us the instructions, or not us directly, his churches actually, in Corinth. The gift, because it has a purpose. It's a means to an end, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, and I don't want no one to give me any hardship. I'm not here to blame. I'm not here to do anything except express the light, okay? So we can all get on the same page. I'm going to talk to you about the difference between Paul's church and today's church, and the dangers of today's church, unlike it was the same dangers at Paul's time with his church. So, who's over a church in today's time are pastors. So let's talk about pastors. I want to give you a definition of a pastor. A pastor is a leader of a Christian congregation. A Christian congregation is Christ-like Christian, Christ-like. Christ is not necessarily Yahshua or Jesus. Christ means anointed one. So he's the leader of a Christian congregation, is supposed to be anointed one congregation, who also gives advice and counsel to people from the community or congregation. Okay, in Lutheran Catholicism, Eastern Orthodox, original Orthodox, and whatever, pastors are always ordained. In Methodist, unlike, pastors may be either licensed or ordained. You can be a pastor but not be ordained. Okay, let's look at Rabbi. A rabbi is a Hebrew word, okay? Rabbi is a spiritual leader or religious teacher in Jerusalem. One becomes a rabbi by being ordained by another rabbi, known as whatever, followed a course of study of Jewish history and texts such as the Talmud. What's the difference between the two? Right away, a rabbi is a spiritual leader or religious teacher. A pastor is a leader of the congregation, a Christian congregation, but they're not spiritual teachers. Why is this important to understand? It's because rabbi is a spiritual teacher. A pastor is not. Why is that important? Because Joshua was a spiritual master. Paul was a spiritual master. Joshua says for the four things, heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, right? Raise the dead, cast out demons. Paul says you got spirits. The spirits give the gifts. The gifts then is to help us collectively with the church setting. Okay, and we'll get into that, what that setting looks like. In today's time, churches and pastors are not spirituals. I know pastors, point blank and simple, could not heal themselves, heal their wives, their families, the congregants, no one. I hear pastors all the time talk about Jesus this and Yahshua that, and Yahshua did this and Yahshua did that. But not once did Yahshua talk about me. He said, be about me. If any man come after me, right? And that's not what Christians, today's pastors, are not teaching. Now, let's talk about pastors, the title. It was actually given to us by a Lord God. Lord. Okay, Lord of actually Israel, or God of Israel. Let's look in Jeremiah 2, verse 8. The priest said not, where is the Lord? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. Whereof I will yet plead with you, said the Lord, and with your children's children will I plead. Okay. The Baal, what is Baal? Baal is a god worship among Canaanites, from whom he, the god, was a fraternity deity, god. The fraternity, don't think of it as mother's womb fraternity. No, think of it as profit, prosperity teachings. You're going to have a new career. You're going to have a new life. You're going to start something new. You're going to have a blossom life. Anything with new, like the prosperity preaching that all these pastors were doing, ultimately what they were doing, spiritually speaking, was worshiping Baal. I'll get into that in a second. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3:14. Turn, a backsliding children, said the Lord. Now, us, the congregants, all of us, said the Lord, for I am married unto you. The Lord is married. He's taking the responsibility of us. Okay. And I will take you one of the cities and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Okay, so we know that the Lord, who feels that he's married with us, the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is married with us, and Moses too, don't forget Moses, feels a responsibility of us. He gives us pastors, and the pastors is to do what? Feed you, us, with knowledge and understanding. Okay. So we know what the Lord states that the pastor's role is. Okay. Let's go to 10. Jeremiah 10. Let's look in verse 20. My tabernacle is spoiled, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. For the pastors are become brutish, and have not sought the Lord. Therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. Where is the pastors become brutish and have not sought the Lord? Is because pastors and congregant people may not know this, but pastors have a setup where they get amongst themselves and they talk about the direction. They talk about pastor's going to come over here and speak this and get this amount of money, and this pastor's going to come over here and preach and talk about this and get this kind of money. And so it is a business amongst themselves. They're not seeking the Lord, they're seeking Baal. Jeremiah 12. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. There's very famous pastors, Texas. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to name them. Destroyed my vineyard. We know, social media. They have trodden my portions under feet. They have made my pleasant portions a desolate wilderness. They have made it desolate, and became desolate it moureth unto me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man layeth in it to heart. What do you mean desolate? In today's time, what do you mean desolate? How can you have multiple pastors and churches in the ghetto of every state and it be a ghetto? Is it because the Lord is saying the pastors destroyed my vineyard? Let's go to 22, Jeremiah. I speak unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou said, I will not hear. This has been thy manner from thy youth, that thou obeyest not my voice. The wind shall eat up all thy pastors, and thy lovers shall go into captivity. Surely then shall thy be ashamed and confronted for all thy wickedness. Where have we seen pastors and thy lovers shall go into captivity? Okay. Jeremiah 23. Woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, said the Lord. Therefore, thus said the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, you have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, said the Lord. All right. I can show you a video. In fact, I'll put it down in below of a preacher man who is a teacher, preacher, done all wonderful works, help the poor, He has a story where he died, literally died because he had heart problems. They did massive surgery on him, but he died. And for 15 minutes of his death, he tells the story how he went to hell. And he explains how God, it does not like his service. When I saw that video for the very first time, it was a while back, I realized that pastors, what their downfall is Joshua. The reason the downfall is Joshua is because a couple of reasons. One, we're going to Yahshua. We should be going to the Lord God. If we go to Yahshua, we should be able to heal the sick, cast out the devils, help the boils, raise the dead. We should be able to understand and comprehend and go out as an evangelist, to go out and to do the works. Greater works shall we do. I talked about that in those other videos. However, the pastors is not teaching you that. They're teaching you prosperity. They're teaching you go to Jesus. Don't go to God. Go to Jesus. Where is Jesus? He's dead. Of course. Where is Jesus? He's in heaven. Yes. Why are we not going to God?